And here we go. Sorry for the slightly delay. Welcome to episode 117 of New York Red Bulls Discussion Group, the podcast. Garry Redmond here at your service. And good to see you. It looks like we survived a Microsoft issue. But it's not Microsoft, folks. It's CrowdStrike. But more on that later. First, we're going to talk about the recap that was on Wednesday night. That was New York Red Bulls versus CF Montreal, and why that particular match had basically left a very bad taste in everyone's collective mouths. And then we're going to go recap, which is FC Cincinnati versus New York Red Bulls, and how that match really turned things around and put a smile on everyone's face. And we got a debut as well of a mascot, the first one since Metro Dog. Of course, we're going to do a brief preview of the upcoming 2024 edition of Leagues Cup and the game that's going to take place on Saturday, which is the Toronto FC taking on the New York Red Bulls. And, of course, naturally, Gotham, New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC. And, of course, New York Red Bulls 2 match recaps. Red Bulls 2 played, of course, OCB, which is Orlando City B. And Gotham, of course, played the Washington Spirit, and the female version, of course, of the Leagues Cup. Plus, of course, all the hot takes are from the live audience and bold predictions. See you guys signing in right now. Good to see you guys as always. And of course, we're looking forward to hearing your hot takes. And by always, if you happen to miss the live show, which is happening right now, okay, you can always catch the recording on YouTube, Goals TV, and of course, Spotify.com. And always remember that all of our episodes are uploaded the very next day. And of course, speaking of which, we want the show to be one of the best out there as far as soccer-related content. This is where you guys come in. Let us know how we're doing. We welcome any feedback, good or bad. So please, by all means, shoot us an email at rbdgthepodcast@gmail.com. That's rbdgthepodcast@gmail.com. Now, of course, as you know, this particular weekend, City and Orlando played to a 1-1 draw. And as far as we're concerned, we won over the weekend. So, in a sense, we won the weekend. So, before we even get that out the way, let's blow that horn, please. There you go. Okay, that's a second straight win. And, of course, we get to blow the horn as we won the weekend again. So, let me bring, of course, one of my fantastic co-hosts, the model, Lanre Badmus, and of course, the coach, the bad dad, Mark Coates. So let's start with Wednesday, guys.
No.
Yeah, let's do that because I did say that Wednesday night's result left a very bitter taste in everyone's mouth. Okay. And Lanre, I'm going to start with you. You were the one that watched the game kind of closely from wherever you were. And after the final whistle, you were justifiably livid, okay, along with all the supporters there. Because walking out the building, gentlemen, they were not happy, okay? Go for it, Lanre.
Okay, so I don't know how or why we can't seem to be a team like Montreal, and they're as crap as usual, basically. It's just stupid, boneheaded mistakes. I don't know what the heck Sean Nealis was thinking, on that penalty, and then getting a stupid red card. It's like he's due for a boneheaded mistake every other month. I believe that's his second sending off of the season. We had chances to put that game away. We were better. We were the better.
Given a gift.
We were given a gift, and then we gave them a gift right back. It was insane. We literally
we don't want it. Here, you take it.
Yeah, no. We can share this. We can share this gift. We really let the ghost of Joseph Martinez get a brace on us, man.
What?
In a span of 90 seconds, okay, 90 seconds, this whole thing broke down. I've never seen. I mean, it was really hard for me to keep my composure. To my left, to my left was sitting the captain, Emil Forsberg, sitting there with his boot and everything else, along with the medical training staff, and he was watching the game and he was seething. Okay, he must have slammed that table at least 4 times, and it was loud. Okay, he was not happy at all.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, he was just like, the hell. Okay, I mean, you're trying to tell me that I'm sitting up here injured and whatnot, and you dudes can't close out a game? I mean,
Like,
I never had to deal with this stuff in Leipzig, so what are you
exactly.
guys doing?
Had concern that like this team could not, up until that point, could not win a game, could not close the game, could not close out all 3 points, home or away, with him. That was without him. That was unacceptable. Montreal,
I'm
come
sure.
on,
I mean,
come on.
I'm sure he would agree with you, Mark. Somewhere along there, Mrs. Coates is saying, "Why is my husband pacing up and down, angry, like he wants to fight someone?" Now we know. I mean, you had some very choice words.
We're lucky we still have a TV on the wall. I mean, it was frustrating. I mean, I just, I can't begin to tell you how many times I was just slapping the arm of the couch, going, "You've got to be kidding me." I mean, I think if I gave somebody $1 for every time I said that, I'd be broke. I mean, it was just unbelievable how we play down to the level of these teams. All these lower level teams that we have drawn against, it's almost becoming embarrassing, and there's no excuse for it.
I mean, I haven't seen anything that crazy,
No,
something
it was
something to
horrible.
go, something to unravel that quickly since the Metro Stars days, and I'm talking, before that, and of course 2009, that fateful, that exquisite season where everything just basically went wrong. That season where Red Bull fans had to hide, okay, had to be in witness protection program because it was that bad. It was not allowed to see their faces anywhere. Or if they did, it had to be under an assumed identity. That's how bad 2009 was, okay?
I couldn't surf on
So,
Fox boards no more. I couldn't. My 12, 13-year-old self could not chirp on the Fox soccer board message boards no more. The
right.
forums no more.
I mean,
Because
oh,
of
you
how
a
bad
Red Bull fan? Sucks to be you. That's how bad it was. I mean, I mean, this was one of those matches where, legitimately, it just, blew our mind just how bad it was. And we had a lead, basically into the 89th minute, and just simply, just simply unraveled, and it just went to pieces. When it really come down to, everyone in the group and everyone in the stands and every one of us here had 3 words to say about that match. Pretty much. I mean, the good news out of all that, the good news out of all that, you didn't lose. Okay, so it ended in the draw. Go up to Stade Saputo, which is everyone's favorite place. So it was a wonderful, garden spot of a soccer stadium, which we hate going up there. Okay, only because they always give us a hard time. The match ended in ended 2-2, right? So we figured we come down home. We all did. Okay, we figured we come back home and just maybe, just put these guys to the sword. Not so much. Final score ended in 2-2. Carmona and Lanre basically in his own goal was given. That's the gift we were talking about. But then you have Joseph Martinez, a guy we should have signed, maybe, in the 67th minute, and then of course in the 81st, thanks to a penalty, and that was of course the red card going to Mr. Nealis. Okay, you don't want to go through hypotheticals and stuff like that, but fans were justifiably livid, about that match, and it really, really wasn't, sticking a craw. Of course, naturally, there are some good notes about this. Rebels became the second team in franchise history to go unbeaten, okay, in the first 11 home matches to begin a season. That season before that was in 2012. Remember that one? That was a terrific season, and unfortunately, it ended in heartbreak. So New York extended.
Just had to throw that in there, right?
I had to. I mean, hey,
of the Red Bulls.
I'm a reporter. This is what I do. New Yorkers extended their home unbeaten streak across all competitions, 14 matches, not too shabby, which was the second longest streak in franchise history. Rebels have gone unbeaten in their last 12 MLS regular season home matches, which is the fourth longest streak in franchise history. New York has also gone unbeaten in 11 regular season matches at home this season, which is the fourth in franchise history that a team has gone unbeaten in 11 plus home games. Oof. Okay. Coming to Red Bull Arena, you're in for a hard time, which is something that we home fans love to see. Okay. Mark, you've said it more than once. You don't win at home, you don't win anything. So they're winning at home. Okay. That there was a single season in 3 seasons, by the way, Mark. No, you didn't lose. Okay. 2005, 2012, which I just mentioned, and 2016. Oh, do we all love 2016? 2016 was a sweet season. Also ended in heartbreak. Okay, New York. Out of all the teams they're all teams in Major League Soccer, gentlemen, that are undefeated at home, the Red Bulls now stand alone. They are the only unbeaten team at home this season. We're due to get a loss, but hey, that's a nice feather in the cap.
I don't know more.
You got to say that, man.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jinx it. Okay, I'm not gonna jinx it.
They already call me Jinx Ray, man. If they know I'm associated with you, and you're the reason you're getting a home loss next time.
I thought you were stalker. I thought you were stalker. I thought you were a stalker. I'm the Jinx man. Wiki Carmona. Oh, you blame me. Okay. Wiki Carmona has tallied 3 goal contributions in his last 6 MLS matches. Montreal's getting sick of him. Okay, they're really getting sick of him because he comes up with goals.
They were happy. They were happy when they gave him the own goal. But listen, I still don't understand. You watched 5 replays. You obviously saw the ball go off of him. How did Martinez still get credit? They still did. They didn't change the score.
Let me tell you guys something. Right when it was announced, in the press box area, we all looked at each other. We all looked at the replay. We all looked at each other and going, "How?" Everyone collectively just said, "How?" Then we just said, "Whatever." We just shrugged our shoulders.
Listen,
it was kind of people would chime
the ball in the net.
Yeah, I know. People would chime me, guys, say, "Hey, guy, you sure he scored that goal?" I'm like, "Well, hey, what do you want me to do?" They announced it.
That's what.
If that's the team's, if that's the official score line, they have an official score, which is that guy that sits behind the table in the middle of the pitch. That's that guy. So he's keeping all the statistics and everything. So if he says it's got a goal, it's a goal. Okay, Dylan Nealis. Okay. He's got his 3rd MLS assist of the career, the season. Excuse me. He's got 7 assists. 7 this season. I looked it up. 7 assists.
That was the guy we were trashing last year.
Yeah. So he has grown. Would you say that this guy's due for a raise or something like that? I don't know if this guy's making $100K. Well, he did sign a 5-year contract, if I'm not mistaken. Right. So yeah, he's due for a nice little money bump. He got 3 assists this season, which ties his single season career high. And that is the end of Red Bull versus Montreal, which leads us to this segue, which is really the heavyweight fight. As we've said this since day one, right? Ever since we met this club in the U.S. Open, and we beat them, ruining everyone's day. Okay. 99% of soccer fans all over the world were rooting for the orange and blue. They hated us. They didn't want us to win. There was one guy who put a tweet out. I'm not kidding. "Hey, Red Bulls, can you do America a favor and please lose?"
No.
We really would like it if you would just lose and go away. We want to keep rooting this team. Nobody, except for us, of course, nobody wanted us to win that game. So what happened? We beat them in a classic extra time match, which ended with BWP leaping into the arms of the supporters and everyone waving goodbye to the guys at the Bailey. Since that day, it was day 1 of the war. It was like, okay, we hate these guys. And they've been, and the feeling has been mutual because, hey, what team doesn't hate us? Right?
I hate Cincinnati.
What team doesn't hate us?
I hate their fan base.
Wait, okay.
State.
They're
No,
nice
no.
people. I mean, they are. I've never been to Cincinnati. I will be down there soon.
I heard the food sucks.
Okay.
Skyline
not
Chili. Well,
No.
all right.
Use
Since
that-
you endorsed it, and I'm a foodie trying to lose weight, I'm going to give it a shot. Okay. I've had chili in D.C.
No.
I've had chili in Boston.
Don't do it.
I've had chili in Philly. Never had Cincy chili, and I'm going to check it out. Okay.
And then you're going to say, I regret this decision.
Probably. Probably.
It's like
But okay. But the fan base, okay, what about the fan base that ticks you off so much? Go ahead.
Oh, you really want to know?
Yeah, I really want to know. And try to keep it PG, why don't you?
There's a.
Okay.
I got mine.
Put the gag on it. Put the gag on his mouth before you even tried.
But the FCC won't let me be, so I'm gonna have to keep it PG when I say this, right?
Okay.
Their fan base seems to have a really, really weird hate aura for us, especially on Twitter. They love to they really love to talk about us, whether we're playing them or not, which means
but
we
Frankie isn't here no more.
And a lot of this. Oh my God! Just all the chirping back and forth during the two playoff series.
Oh well, hey! The chirping is mutual, Lanre. We chirp, they chirp.
Look, but here's the thing, right?
Okay, go ahead.
You remember when their fans celebrated? Remember when their players celebrated in front of the South Ward?
I remember. I was there.
Ticked
off everybody in the building.
Oh,
dudes wanted to fight.
They were calling us soft. They had the nerve to call us soft. For complaining about that. You guys from Ohio, what do you know about not being soft?
I mean, hey.
Y'all keep crying about Frankie Amaya. Y'all keep crying about Frankie Amaya. Y'all still crying about Frankie Amaya. Look, now in Mexico, bro. What you talking about, bro?
Say it with your chest, man. Say it with your chest.
That's hilarious, man. Oh my God!
They could not get past the fact that he left and came to us.
More reputable, respectable club, and they still can't handle it, even after winning the damn Supporters Shield, even after being the best team in MLS over the last 1.5 seasons. Basically, they still can't get over it. It's small club syndrome. It's an inferiority complex. It's an inferiority complex to the New York City metro area. It's an inferiority complex.
No, Lisa, I'm not gonna pop up your. I'm not gonna pop up your thing. It's PG. Remember?
It's hilarious. That's why I love beating them. I love seeing them cry. I love rubbing it in their face. I have no sympathy.
All right. I mean, hey, you know what? We did sweep the series. Okay, went down there.
Can I say that I agree with Lisa?
I'm not disagreeing with her. I love that woman.
I totally agree with her. Look, they talk a lot of trash. Okay.
Yeah. So do we. But go ahead.
They wanted to cry, but Frankie made it personal. All right. When he scored the goal, and he was like, "What do you got to say now?" And they didn't have. As my girlfriend referred to, because she knows how to read lips, the FU2 goal. Yeah.
It was.
And he didn't back down.
No,
he did not back down, and he was like,
"No, I mean, my girl was giving him praise. Like, you go, boy. That's right. Yeah, shut them up." Because just before that goal, they started the "Fu Frankie" chant. Just seconds before that goal, and then.
And that
silenced the whole building.
Fast.
Yeah, few too.
But like I said, that was interesting.
Love it. They
couldn't find a way to use him in their system, and you look at,
and that's our fault.
No, we
somehow it's our fault. It's everything.
They were a USL side and came up. Okay. And they drafted players. Everybody who's ever worked in sports, any sport, you can't just take a bunch of guys, throw them together, and say, "Okay, go make magic." It takes time for these players to develop, to gel. Some guys are not ready. Spend time with the second team. I watched him. I saw him become a better midfielder, and then I knew he was ready. And I know we're going to talk about we're going to move on, to our highlights soon.
Mhm.
But everybody I have seen posting up has been talking about Ronald Doncourt. Some people even said man of the match. And I'm going to say, y'all need to take a look at my jersey behind me. It says New York Red Bulls 2 at the bottom of Harper's jersey. I love to see those boys. I love watching these young kids come up. I've seen so many of them. Some have
Kasule.
some. He's
Kasule.
coming.
He's coming. He's
All
coming.
right, but
Ofori. He's
watching,
coming.
watching these guys develop and watching these guys grow. Listen, there's a lot of guys who never got a shot coming up to the first team, and they're still playing in USL. All right, but just because they didn't make it with us doesn't mean that they're not professional soccer players. There's a lot of guys. We had guys who weren't ready to come up.
Fred LaCory might disagree.
Yeah, well, but like I said,
he complains.
these guys play. And watching Ronald, I posted up after his first game. I gave him a little nod on Instagram. I said, "Congrats, good to see you up. Hope this continues." And look, it took him a couple games to get comfortable playing up at this, but what a game Saturday night! I mean, like I just everywhere he was in the right position, making the plays, and Costa, crying like he usually cries, and it just, I just
mouse.
listen. I could not stand seeing him come on the field. I'm like, oh Jesus, here we go. He's 5'3", by the way. I looked up his stats, and he looks shorter on the field. He really does.
Incredible.
We needed
a brick house, dude.
We needed Reyes.
Try running that dude over. Good luck.
We needed walk up to Acosta.
I met him up close after the game. He is just as stocky as you think he is. I mean, dude's big. I mean, which means that he has a good lower. He has a terrific lower center of gravity, which means he is very difficult to knock off the ball. Very, and because he does have that lower center of gravity, which means if you got a taller defender on him, he will skip around you. Okay, and it's not even funny. I mean, he made Noah Ellie look like a traffic cone the last time these two teams met, and it was sick. Okay, to the point that Noah, don't trip over the dude. Okay, just chill. Okay, you can put some body on him. Okay, because Noah ain't no skinny dude. He's a big boy. Okay, but he has this gift where he makes taller defenders or any defenders around him look foolish and trip. He loves to dance right to the sideline and let off that dangerous pass in the box. If he's sitting all by himself outside of it, he's got that shot. He'll take it. He'll hurt you. Okay. He's just an incredible player, and one that's going to be a force to reckon with down for seasons to come. And he was starting off the bench, okay, in this match to much of everyone's relief. Cincinnati came in with half a team. A lot of guys were injured. A lot of guys were suspended. They lost to Chicago and figured they were going to be in an ill mood. I mean, the question becomes, how does a team as good as FC Cincinnati, which pretty much was a good team all year outside of Inter Miami, how do you lose to Chicago? I mean, we were all living where we wound up tied with Chicago, but how do you lose to Chicago?
When
I saw that scoreline, guys, I was like, huh? How do you 1-0? How do you lose to these guys? And Coach Pat Noonan, chirping. That's how you got the yellow. That's how you got the successive yellow cards.
Maybe because they're frauds.
I wouldn't go so far to that, but
I would.
Let's talk.
Don't worry, I'll say it for you.
Let's talk about the game. So everyone, of course, everyone was buzzed because of the the newest sensational mascot. His name is Red, by the way, REDD. And I have this. I showed the picture, of course, to my girlfriend. I said, "What do you think about the mascot?" She said, "Well, at least it doesn't look like a desperate cry for help. It's a decent looking mascot." Remember how she hates this team, okay? So
better than mascot.
look. There were
It's
a lot
for
of
the
folks.
kid.
Okay, I mean, I want to keep doing this because I want to make this short because we got to get to the highlights. You know, people were like, "So where's the new signing?" Yet, I mean, we're gonna, I'm not promising anything, and I agree with every one of you. You know, the transfer window opened. What was it? 2 days ago, 3 days ago. Notoriously quiet, as I expected, but we'll see. Okay, but for the kids and the kid in me, I liked it. I thought it was cool. I think he's a terrific ambassador. Now show him around the place. And what I mean by show him around, don't keep him just in the stadium. You know, take him out to any like events and stuff like that, children's hospitals and something. Let him meet the kids. I mean, because that's what it's for. Terrific ambassador. What really got me was all the other mascots around the sports area where it came out there, meet and greet him. Of course, the Scarlet Rutton and I did a face plant. Poor God, that's gonna, might be a,
Or
harbinger to their season.
Eric-
But what do I
Eric's
know? I
before
mean,
school, huh, Lanre?
uh-huh.
well, I mean, well,
It's like,
one criticism. Okay, well, I
I
will
think
say
Mr. Met face.
my criticism, but one criticism that people have of the introduction of the mascot and everything is that it's a continuation of the club's perceived like catering to soccer moms and like young suburban soccer families,
Yeah, I mean, and you know what?
as opposed to like diehards like the three of us, like
I mean,
adults,
you know what?
which I think is valid. Personally.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk more about that. We're gonna talk more about that at the end. But first, the party got started not very long. 7 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. Lewis Morgan.
Lewis across the cover. Duncan. Lewis Manuel, cleverly done. And here comes Red Bull New York. Elias Manuel and Morgan! High press, high stakes, gargantuan reward for Red Bull New York.
This is just so efficient, holds his body up, gets in behind the back line, but you see Morgan just isolating himself, willing to commit full speed, and he's not going to miss from there with the form that he has. Really well done from Elias Manuel to create that separation, wait for that play to present itself. And there he is, Lewis Morgan on the back post for a tap-in. A fantastic start here at home in Red Bull Arena for Red Bull New York. 1-0.
Oh yeah, place was buzzing on top of that. I mean, you get a win, you get a goal, okay, early on against, arguably one of the best teams in the conference. People say, oh, well, there wasn't a full-time defense. Okay, right. Miazga and the rest of the guys were not there. But not a single person who was wearing a Red Bull shirt cared. Okay, so that was the end of that. And then the fun really got really got excited when you have Kyle Duncan. Let me repeat this: a dude that normally doesn't score did, and he did it in such a fashion that made everybody raise his feet. Brooklyn-born, stand up.
With a long ball in. Still away towards the cast. It falls now for Kyle Duncan. Brilliant! Brooklyn born and bred. Kyle Duncan rifles Red Bull New York into the realm of comfort on the big day at Red Bull Arena.
Talk about something out of nothing. Look at this. Knockdown, sets it on the right. And comes across his body with the right foot. Just sets it up with a great first touch. And look at him swing across that. And that thing's going outside to in all the way. I mean, this is the angle we all dream of. This is a world-class goal. No chance. Spectacular. Top corner. Doubling the lead. 2-0.
Off from distance, kiss the post, back in the net. Mark,
I know.
we haven't seen anything that pretty from Kyle in a long time, but man, did he pull a rabbit out of the hat.
I mean, the last couple games, he's shown some improvement defensively. I mean, it's not phenomenal, Obviously, Dylan's the better defender. And obviously, he's playing over on the other side because John's not playing. Um, but the first thing I thought when I saw that go in was, did that really go in? I was thinking hit the side of the net, but I was like, oh man, it went in. And the next thought I had was, Garry must be loving this because I got that Brooklyn connection. So I was like, and I thought, how many times have I slapped this guy's hand at Montclair? That you need to be up playing with the first team. He's got the skills. It's just he seems to get stuck sometimes in his own head. But I loved how he got control of the ball and just took his time.
Settle it.
Get 10 rows back.
Caught it, settle it, just
got
said,
it.
okay, here we go.
I
mean, in a sense,
guys do sometimes.
Right. In a sense, this is what we want some of these guys to do sometimes. Okay. What does Steve Jolly always said? If you're going to take the shot, make the keeper dance. Right?
Make him work for it.
Make him work for it. In this case, Valentino did not move. He just flat-footed. Just said, "Ooh, okay." Well, next thing you know, was buying.
Honestly, he figured it was dunk and it was going 10 rows up or it was going 10 feet wide. That's probably what he was thinking.
Definitely.
And if you watch, like I'm sure Carlos, because he was sitting at the north end, if you watch the replay from the north end, that ball was bending out.
Right. That exactly what the commentator column said. It was rolling left and drifted inside. And I think the keeper I think the keeper thought he was going to drift further than that. Then it just knuckleballed. It just went right in. And that's probably the reason why he was, when he was flat-footed, he was like, oh, it's in. Oh, damn. But
and they all were just looking at each other too, like, did that really happen? Even some of our guys were like, did that really happen? But yeah, it was a beautiful thing. It really was.
Of course, the Red Bulls were not done. 59th minute. Lewis Morgan again with an assist. This was kind of fun.
Gallivanting forward for Red Bull New York. Miles into Yengur. Yengur across goal. Carmona and Morgan! Predatorial, instinctive.
We talked about Donkor. He's the one keeping possession to build into this attack. Nils getting this one in behind the back line. And that's just a fantastic ball to knock down there. And there's Morgan exactly where he wants. Poaching in front of goal, waiting for knockdowns, waiting for scraps. If you set him up there, he's not going to miss. Redirects that one perfectly. The build-up play, the possession. Ngor just putting this ball clipped perfectly to the back post outside. A jumping DeAndre Yedlin. And it's just fantastic. It's efficient. It's perfect in every way. But it's a little discussion right now.
We talked about DeAndre Yedlin, defending on that side of the ball where both,
Wash.
Yeah, I mean, he had a rough night, to put it mildly. I mean, Morgan was undressing him. Then you had Wiki Carmona also undressing him. He didn't do better until they actually switched on the other second half. But the place was it went from buzzing to bumping after that goal. Okay, I think fans understood the assignment. Okay, you're playing FC Cincinnati. Season after season after season, the last couple of seasons, they knocked us out of, they knocked us out of it. Everybody remembers the very frustrating, knife fight that ended, with a penalty kick that just went south, and us being sent home and seeing the celebration for the South Ward, which really, really, put everyone in a bad mood. I think the fans were basically finding, finally, we got something over, this team, Lanre. Finally. Okay, now you know what it's like to be on the other end of that sword. I mean, now you know what it's like. Although it's a regular season game, and our first victory over these guys in quite some time. Remember, back over at TQL Stadium, it ended in a draw. Back home, we get a win. So,
Oh wait, I thought we
you
I thought we beat them at their place.
excuse me. No. You're right. Back on TQL Stadium. I mean, the thing that annoyed me about that match, guys,
Yeah.
nobody even give the Red Bulls a lot of credit. It was almost like, well, it's the Red Bulls. I mean, you beat Cincy, which makes me feel that this crew. Now, I'm also putting this out there for also the folks in the listening audience. This is good. We swept Cincy. Let me repeat that. We swept Cincy, okay? Who usually gives us, who usually gives us a hard time. Now, are you guys impressed or not? Mark, you first. You impressed the fact that we actually, finally gave these guys the business?
If you watched on all three of our goals, passing, crisp, concise passing, moving the ball around. We didn't do a phenomenal job the whole game, but we did what we needed to do. And we got the goals that we should have gotten. Yeah, everybody talks about expected goals, and that's been our biggest joke. When we had Cangelosi on early in the season, he talked about our expected goals versus our actual goals. We had the worst differential last season in MLS.
Correct.
Like 10 or 11 goals below what our expected. Yeah, because nobody was actually putting the ball in net when they should be putting the ball in the net. Reference Wednesday night's game. How many times should Van Zier have put the ball in the net? And he didn't. That's the problem we faced. Not Saturday night. That ball went in the net when it should have gone in the net. Now, the one thing we didn't talk about, I like, and I call him Gengar. That's what I'm always going to call him. But
I think it's pronounced Yengar, but hey, what am I?
He had two opportunities in stoppage time in the second half, and he blew both of them. All right. Now, is he nervous? I don't know.
He's young.
He's not a natural either.
Another thing, we've got how many under 22 guys do we have on this team? Like, this team is made up of a lot of young guys.
I mean, and I guess that was drawing some of the diehards' ire. Okay, they're like, okay, give us some vets and stuff like that, which I kind of agree. But you know what?
Yeah, we have one who's injured.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what happens to old guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened. I mean, he's, it's next man up. I said, okay, he out. So I'm sure all that will die down a little bit once he gets back, once those guys get back, and then, they start, contributing like they did in the first half of the season. Because the second half of the season, have you taken a look at that schedule? I mean,
we only have what, 9 games or 8
9 games
left?
remaining. Yeah. Have you taken a look at that blasted schedule? I mean,
what's interesting is what a lot of people have been discussing. It's like
never mind the number of games, but the people they're going to be playing up against. I mean,
yeah, because we've already played Cincinnati twice. We played Miami twice. We're not going to the West Coast again.
Right.
That's done. It's just in the Eastern Conference.
Right. We got Charlotte coming up.
Those are at home.
Right. We got Charlotte. Still got to deal with Columbus. Still have to deal with Philly. Okay, who's not going to be fighting for their lives coming in here.
Well, they might be already out. Who knows?
Huh?
They may be on the way out. They may be on the ropes.
Hey, we're done with we're done with DC. Right. We're done with DC. So then we got New York City, round 2 in September. Okay, that's going to be, the fun. And of course, naturally, Atlanta twice, NYCFC, Chicago, Charlotte, KC, Columbus, Toronto, Philly. This is what Nicholas is right on the money with this. Have you seen this schedule? These ain't gimmies. Okay, none of these games are gimmies.
Those are winnable games. Most of those games.
How?
Especially.
What do you mean by winnable games?
Chicago, we know we should destroy. Okay, Toronto's been playing better of late. All right, Atlanta's up and down.
Columbus put us in a meat locker. Kansas City is Kansas City, and Philly's looking to put a bullet in our head just to remind them that they can still bully us.
What we did since they want to win the second game so they can say they beat us twice.
Right.
You know, but those are still, like I said, there's several winnable games in our schedule. So the question becomes, do we have what it takes to at least maintain fourth place? Because
Or
that's sort of where we're at.
possibly take third. Or we're not that far behind.
Yeah, but Columbus has 2 games on us.
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we're close, but does Miami or Cincinnati falter going down the stretch? We don't know when Messi's coming back either.
If he is.
Well, there's the other question. I'm saying because
Even without, they seem to be playing better without him. Crazy as it sounds, but yeah, they seem to be.
Well, they didn't show up when they played us a few months back in the rain.
Well, we did have very cold.
They also whooped us down there, to be fair. Yeah. But we won on away goal.
Yeah, but we won on away goals. That's it.
All right, to wrap this up, of course, Cincinnati got their goal basically in the 67th year by Mr. Baird. Since it really it really became a good win all the way around. Morgan scored his 11th and 12th goals in the season. He's got 33 career MLS goals, and he has scored 2 in his last 3 matches. Morgan now scored 30 goals across all competition for the Red Bulls, which ranks him 9th in place in franchise history for the most goals against passing Adolfo Valencia. Remember him? Okay, so his 12 goals this season, guys, is now tied for second place for a midfielder in franchise history, and most goals scored by a midfielder, in a single season. You want to talk about a guy who's like very important for the offense? He's it. Now imagine what we do if we had a bona fide striker right in front of him or next to him. Okay, of course we talk about this all the time, but what do you do? More stuff for Morgan. He ranks second among active MLS midfielders in goals scored this season with 12. Scottish international scored 26 goals for the Red Bulls, which tied John Wallenick, former Metro legend, and of course MLS, New York Red Bull 2 head coach. I miss that guy. For 8th place in franchise history for most MLS goals by a Red Bulls player. Red Bulls have posted a 7-3-3 mark against FC Cincinnati in regular season and earned their first home win versus Cincinnati. First home win. Not bad.
We won. We won in 2020 against them. That was the game right before COVID.
Right before COVID. So it's been let's not talk about COVID. I really don't want to bring this up. So the standings is updated right now. You look in the Eastern Conference. You got Miami, Cincinnati, Columbus, then us in 4th place. Then of course NYC, Charlotte, Orlando, Toronto, and then Atlanta. Why am I naming those clubs? Because if the season ended today, those are your 9 that will make it to the next round. Now, as everyone knows, the playoffs are a little bit helter-skelter, but we went through it, so it bears repeating. The 8th and 19th play on a one-and-done knockout round. That's round 1. Winner takes on the number 1 seed. So hypothetically, if either Toronto and Atlanta wins, they get Miami in the next round. Now, in the next round, as you know, is a best of 3. Okay, the team with the higher seed, they host games 1 and games 3 if it becomes necessary. This is where it gets a little interesting, and I want everyone to take a look at this. If you look at the standings, guys, Miami, of course, next round takes on the winner of Toronto and Atlanta. Cincinnati has got Orlando. Columbus got Charlotte. Guess who we got in that round?
NYCFC.
That's going to be fun. I mean, tight, crazy, Hudson, I think if the standings end like that, it's going to be fun. Back and forth to the Bronx or Queens or Connecticut or
wherever.
Hofstra, wherever the heck.
We only have to play one game at their place.
Right, just one. We have to play just one game. Preferably to sweep them and not have to go any further because I really don't want to hear their mouths. But that's what it's looking at right now. Of course, schedule. And, of course, naturally, the standings can change. There's 9 games to go. There are some clubs that have more games than us, okay, a couple of games in hand. So keep that in mind.
I want to say something real quick.
Go ahead.
I do want to say I'm not trying to jinx nothing or predict nothing or nothing like that. Don't call me jinx, Ray Lisa. Don't do it. Don't do it when I say this. Because
Stop.
I just want to say this right now.
Go
We
ahead.
all remember all the pain we felt the day NYCFC won MLS Cup. That was my worst. That was the worst day of my entire sporting fandom life. I'm
It
so
was.
serious. I fell into a deep depression that night. How amazing would it be if, because remember, they did not face us on the road to that title. How amazing would it be if we beat them on the road to winning our first MLS Cup? We always have that over them. Even if they
Well,
lose, us beating them on the road to winning ours would mean so much more. So
we have to do well. This team has to, give a clap back to the cup, right? What did
yeah,
we had over them up until they won it? 7-0.
red
Okay,
white.
at Yankee Stadium. And I said this before. People are like, "Oh, they got nothing. That's a COVID cup, dude. They won a cup. They got a star over their crest. That is the ultimate clapback.
Come
The
on,
ultimate. It
man.
is
I see
the
both.
ultimate.
I see both sides. I
Every time they come in our building, right during the national anthem, they always yell "stars." Just the
don't ruin my coat. Don't ruin my
emph-
coat. Please don't ruin my coat. I need my
I
coat.
mean,
Don't
I
ruin my
mean,
coat.
I will. All right, I won't. I won't. But I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just saying. Why do you think everybody in the group, okay, goes nuts to butts, okay, about every signing, every player, everything? They want to beat these guys, okay? Plain and simple. They lose their minds whenever some big name goes somewhere else, and we got kids coming up
Angelo.
from, from the farm. I mean, every so once in a while we'll get a stud or two, right? Not the whole bunch, but a stud or two. I mean, you got some of the diehards over there, they're losing their minds. Just sell these guys and get, older, slower, name recognition players. What I kind of like the system that we have. I'm not saying that they should be in the starting lineup, okay, but I would like to see, a system where the only way you get out of there is you can become exceptional. But Mark and I will digress to this. They give these kids 3 years. That's it. Okay, they give them a 3-year contract, and they're gonna hit the ground running. Some will succeed, most will fail. And to me, give them another season or two. We'll see what happens. But only the exception will come out of there. But for now, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Leagues Cup. The competition that nobody really wants to talk about. Lanre, of course, has been scanning the interwebs, and he's going to do a quick little breakdown of what's happening on Saturday when they take on Toronto FC. But first, there was a little matter of other games that took place on Saturday, week 29 of Major League Soccer. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Okay, a little program note. This is, if you probably note the date of our next game thread that will take place on the 24th. That's because we're going to take a month break. Yes, this is where the gentlemen enjoy their little summer vacation. We will return at that time. Carlos Cano will be running episodes 118 and 119 while yours truly get some much deserved rest. So that's what's going on. So I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, wait a minute, where are you guys going? Well, don't forget that all of our previous episodes will be available in its entirety for your watching and listening pleasure on Spotify.com, our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And, of course, goals.tv. Now that we have finally got our uploading situation squared away, we're uploading episodes, of course, and old episodes as we speak. Let's talk about Leagues Cup, Lanre. That competition that, well, a lot of people got upset about. And MLS was favoring that over U.S. Open Cup, which is really should be the competition we should be focusing on. But
Yes.
Yeah, and I agree. Okay, not not that. I mean, I was remember how pissed off I was too.
We've all made that very clear on here.
We were. We had Patrick, Chris Nair, and man, did he kind of pretty much laid the 2x4 on MLS when we had him as a guest here. We will have him again soon, but. Let's talk about this type of, this coming version of it. This is year 2 of this wonderful experiment where we have teams from Liga MX taking on teams from MLS. As a matter of fact, the All-Star game will take place. So they're All-Stars versus ours. Actually, I like them having more East versus West, but hey, what do I know? But Lanre, when you look at the competition this year, remember Inter Miami was the reigning champion. Of course, there's no reason why they can't win it again. But however, you see things a little differently, don't you?
Yeah. I guess I think it'll be a little more open this year, especially with Messi's injury. Kind of muddying the waters for Inter Miami. Yes, they may be quote unquote playing better without him, but Leagues Cup is obviously a different competition to the league. I think with our group, I think we got a good chance to win it. Toronto obviously is not the best team in the world by any stretch of the imagination. Even if they have somehow, by some miracle, vaulted themselves into a playoff spot. But that said, I don't care unless we're in the final, to be blunt with you. To be frank, it's like this shouldn't even be existing, especially not at the expense of the U.S. Open Cup.
Well,
I'm giving away my tickets.
Well, the group that with the Red Bulls are in, of course, you got you got
Toronto
Toronto FC, and then you got Pachuca. Now we're going to face Pachuca on Wednesday night. This should be interesting. I mean, Mexican fans, they will show up in force for their squad. So it's going to be be prepared to hear the P word every goal kick throughout the entirety. I'm just letting you guys know right now. Don't bother bringing your kids to the game and then complain afterwards when you keep hearing that because Mexican fans they don't like they don't stop playing that word. So so that's basically Tuesday night. Thank you, Nicholas. Tuesday night, which is a very short turnaround. They're trying to get this thing over with. I thought it was Wednesday night, but it's Tuesday night. Yes, as a matter of fact, look at the schedule. Yes, sir. And I mean, if there's one, let Ranzier run away with it. You know what, Mark?
Sorry.
This is why I call this is why I call you bad dad. I mean, speaking of Van Zier, okay.
Hey, you know what? Before you say that though, one of the things I picked up on from Sam's post game interview. By the way, thank you very much. He mentioned that it's the shortest amount of time you can get a trophy because it's like whatever 3 weeks, 4 weeks for the whole competition. And he's I mean, I don't know that he wants to go all in and think that we're going to win the
We sure don't. We sure damn don't want to go all in.
I think that this is one of those situations where him as the coach is going to make the choice on who he starts and who he plays. And I don't see that he's going to want to go all in for this short little mini tournament. He knows what's coming up at the end of the month, and then going into September and October, and then beyond. He needs guys healthy. He needs guys ready to go to rock and roll.
Agreed.
Can't injure any more players. We're already thin as it is, and who knows? You talk about signings, and it was mentioned the press conference too. We don't really know of anybody coming in yet because we haven't heard anything significant. There's been a couple of names batted around, but a couple
not
of
much else.
They're not interested in making a move over the summer. So
I hope that's not the case. For their sake, Mark, I hope that's not the case because the perfect storm would be they bring in no one and then we crash out in the first round like the last time, especially after a season like this.
And that would be heartbreaking for everybody.
No, it wouldn't be heartbreaking for us. It'll be devastating for them because then they're the ones that are going to be looked at the mirror and going, okay, I mean, in as much guys in the front office, I got to know them for the last 10 years. They're cool peeps, okay? But in honesty, business is, what's that saying? Business is business. Heads have to roll.
Yeah.
Sorry. Heads have to roll, okay?
Totally.
No disrespect for Jordan Snyder, for any of those guys,
Julian
even
de
the Grand
Guzman.
Prix, the Julian Guzman, even the Grand Prix, heads got to roll. Sorry, heads have to roll because, in my honest opinion, it's not about it's about promises made and promises kept. Okay.
Yeah.
Did we have a competitive squad this year? Well, yes, and it was done, of course, basically thanks to a coach that knows how to play boys based on their strength and not exactly the weaknesses, and not have to deal with coaches that go all in on the system, and not much else. Okay, and don't have a plan B. This coach has a plan B. What he wants this team to do is to play together and above the we've talked with him after losses. We've talked with him after draws. He's frustrated after draws. I've never had a coach so adamant about having an opportunity and letting it slip. Okay, but on the fans, and I am in 1,000,000% agreement with them. Show me. We've heard this before. Season before that, the season before that, the season before that. Show me. I've said this more than once. What type of club do they want to be? What type of club do they want to be? Just a club that's existing in the metropolitan area, or they want to be known as a championship club with a mentality to match? Okay, where every season you're going for it and not just saying it on paper. That's my right, and that's my concern. You can't tell a fan base who's been through so much, okay, and the simple fact that most of them are gone. Some of them remain because they're all diehards, and I've said this to the guys in front office. You need to take care of them. The dudes that come here that are still here, you take care of them. Okay, you let them know, hey, we're still thinking about you. We're glad you have our backs in the whole 9 yards. But at the same time, if you're going to make declarations saying they never said we're going to make big name signings. They said that we're going to have a better team. Well, technically, they did. They said they was going to spend, but not in the way that everyone wants, not every way everyone thinks. Okay, they seen guys like LAFC and LA Galaxy who basically who spare no coin, okay, bringing in the big name ballers, okay, and filling up their team, their stadiums up to the rafter. But then we got our guys homegrowns and stuff like that, and then doing, whatever they do, okay. Not gonna work. Okay, and especially if you're playing within the shadow of one of the greatest cities in the world, okay, and especially when you have the name of said city in front of your club name. New York stands for one thing: big names, box office. We haven't had anybody like that since Henry, and even with Henry, we didn't move the needle. What did I hear from Arsenal fans? You guys are garbage. You didn't surround that guy with talent like you were supposed to. I can't defend that.
No,
Can't.
But
Either.
that's I think
Can't.
the bottom
Can't
line
defend
is
that.
they sent out that letter at the beginning of the season.
But then again, NYCFC, what did they do? They brought big names, and they stunk. Okay,
Well, yeah,
in the first couple of years. Okay, they got pasted. I mean, they got pasted by our little no-name squad, right? Okay, that led up to the 7-0 game. Guys, we were all a bunch of owls, right? Who is this guy? I mean, whoever heard of, who's this guy? Who's the Ginger Ninja? Who's this guy? Who's Matt Miazga? Well, everybody now knows who Matt Miazga now is, okay? Everybody knows who Dax McCarty is. When Dax got traded, everybody lost their minds for someone new, someone young.
Now, like I
It
said,
happens.
we're at a point where they've got to realistically fill the void that Frankie Amaya has left. Donk's doing a nice job, but we need bodies
Yeah.
because everybody keeps saying the same thing.
No, I don't think we need bodies. No. See, that's what you're doing right now. I didn't mean to, didn't mean to interrupt, didn't mean to argue with you, but we got bodies now. What you need is ballers. Okay.
We don't sign
Okay.
too many
We
of
need
those.
ballers. That's what you need.
100%
Okay.
agree.
You need ballers. And I don't mean go out and break the bank, which you can't. You got a budget. Okay. Break the bank.
Well, we
Of
got
some
money.
big name.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got
you're
money
already.
to spend, but
Yeah. But
no, like I said, but if they bring in somebody, like here's the problem: we spent $2 million on Jorgensen, last. The guy
which resulted in
nothing.
the dude
Right?
getting fired. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
or
just
not fired, but no, we're not going to extend your contract.
no,
Stuff like that.
How many,
Right.
and how many other guys did we bring in? And by the time these guys got their visas, got on the field, it's like 2 games left of the season. That's a We need to have bodies in ready to go, start training, and be able to make an impact the last 5 or 6 games.
That's why I said January. What did we all said, guys? Right, Lanre, you and I followed the European game pretty well. Okay,
Yes.
which we do. We felt I don't have I don't have a dog in the fight, although I like Man U. Okay.
Ew. What the heck?
Hey, I mean,
Yeah,
Paul Scholes was my man. I like that guy.
I know
Okay.
too many Man United fans. I can tolerate Arsenal far more than y'all. For real.
That's why I got to separate. This is the reason why I got to separate you and Miggy sometimes. You too. You and your London Derby nonsense. Anyway, but more to the point. And and we we've always said this about the transfer windows, right? In the winter transfer windows, that's the guy you got. In regards to MLS, those are the balls you got to get. You got to get. You break your bank if necessary for guys like that. Summer transfer windows, well, those are guys what's left, right? I mean, all the other big names, they've already went to other clubs. So you got slim pickings there. They've already right now they're in training camp with their respective teams. And if you can get a guy, that's why if you can get a few guys in summer transfer, get the guys that have been established. Get the guys at MLS Wallace or something like that. Hey, even the USL guys and the 10%, there are some guys that they're pretty good in USL who are dying for a contract. Get some of those guys, okay? Once again, you're not getting bodies. You're getting ballers, okay? But if all you're going to do is you're going to grab a player or two from New York Red Bull 2, you're going to frustrate the fan base and they're going to walk if some already haven't done already. And that's about it. Speaking of New York Red Bull 2, they played a game Sunday. Okay, they happened to win up. They were seconds away from winning this match. Okay, Rosborough, he's scoring goals in multiple matches this year. This kid is certainly one to watch. Hopefully, for a couple of years, he'll turn
3
out
games
great.
in a row, man.
Right, yeah, 3 games in a row. He's on a streak. Stokes killed these guys 5 minutes into extra time. However, the Young Guns pulled it out with penalty kicks. Unlike MLS in the regular season, if the game ends into a draw, it doesn't end in a draw. It goes right into penalty kicks. The winning team gets 2 points. The the losing team get a point, and that's how that works. I don't think that's the type of system that will work in Major League Soccer. Fans would simply have a fit. So. You guys we're going to see each other for about a month. Of course, we're going to miss our regular view, but don't worry. We will be back in August. Normally around this time, yep, if we are very funny. Normally around this time, we usually take a 2-week break. Anywho, because of Leagues Cup and everything else, that we'll be adding another 2 weeks. There's also a technical reason why we're doing this. we're getting a new server. It's sitting in my closet right now in its box, and it's going to take me a while to get it all set up and everything because, hey, I'm a tech when I'm not doing soccer stuff. So that's going to be fun.
And we're tired of hearing blame Garry, right?
Yeah, I'm sure you guys. Yeah.
Hurt, to be honest. Hurt.
This is.
I did mention it earlier.
Good.
You gave Carlos the keys and let him test drive it earlier today. Did he break something and not tell you?
Maybe. But
scratched the door and didn't tell him.
But the 19th and 26th, of course, Carlos will headline. Yours truly will be on vacation. So, no game for us until August. So we will see you guys before then.
Yeah.
So, rest up, everyone. This is going to be fun. I mean, it's if you guys are going to Leagues Cup, go there for. I'm hoping they really put out the kids, but I can understand why Sandro would want to do a mix between kids and, of course, vets, especially those who've been injured for a while. My take is the guys who are injured, you really need to rest them up because if everyone's taking a look at the schedule, the stretch run is going to be brutal. They're going to be games coming in fast and furious. Many folks have given up their Leagues Cup tickets. I don't blame them, but some of them are doing it basically out of protest because of the U.S. Open Cup for folks like that. So we are done. So
No more.
I mean, that's about it. Anything else? So we are done for the evening, boys. So, like I said, our next show will take place August 15th. Carlos Cano will be taking over from there. It's going to be a month, but don't worry. You can always watch our show, watch our episodes once again on Spotify.com. You can also have YouTube channel, which is going on right now. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, goals.tv will be at your service until we all return. And we'll probably have Anthony Merced giving all the breakdown of so far the transfer window, what's happening or probably what's not happening. And of course, I'm going to be watching intently along with you guys.
That could be an ugly show.
We hope not.
Miggy
So,
eat him alive.
Be nice to him because he's giving us all the info and all the straight dough. So that's it, folks. We're going to take ourselves a nice little break. We'll be back in about a month. For Mark Coates and, of course, Lanre Batmus, this is Garry. I've been saying thanks for joining us this last hour. We will see you all once again in August. Until then, good night, everybody, and goodbye for now.